today we're going to go into our second episode of my Buffy the Vampire Slayer Sims 4 playthrough. Um, if you missed the last episode, please check it out. I did get a little too blathery, I think. So if you check it out, probably skip ahead like 11 minutes just so that you could go straight into the gameplay. Because I just kind of blather, and I'm going to try and not blather through this. But if not, you probably could just start from here too. But I would appreciate it if you watched the last episode. But I'm going to try and not blather as much, so we're just going to get started. So, I'm about to introduce you to my version of the bronze. I don't think we went here in the last episode. This is a space I really like. I think even after I'm done with this playthrough, I think this is going to be a space that I'm going to have my Sims go to because it's just fun. I think it's like I said in the last episode, I'm not one for one on everything, but like I feel like I really captured the spirit of the bronze, and so I just really enjoy it. Um, and I think people talk about this a lot in the Sims community about how weird the dancing is. But it's just too fun. And Angel, for some reason, he always does really weird stuff that's really funny. um, I don't know if so I haven't introduced my villains, and spoiler alert, I'm not going to in this episode either. But I've created the Master, Darla, and Luke, and it's kind of funny because Luke is kind of like I've tried to create their using the tools. I tried to create the personalities as close as possible, but Luke is kind of just like this bumbling, hulking, kind of lovable idiot kind of character. So it's kind of sad. And I tried with Angel too, but he's a lot more goony than he is in Buffy. um, but yeah, this is the bronze, and so I started this episode, or not this episode, but at this point I was just trying to build the relationships, and I don't know, it's hard to say because I think the only friend Buffy has is her mom, and officially, so I need to. And see, it's already starting off bad in the romance department for Buffy and Angel. They, I think it's because I put Angel as having a gloomy personality, so I don't think he takes things like compliments well. And so he's just, he's just funny. um, and I think it's funny because a lot of the characters nap on these couches. I don't think I would go to a nightclub and nap. Oh, and I don't know if I even said this. So, Cordelia's name officially in the game is Cordelia Chase, but I decided since you don't see um, her parents in the show and it's only talked about, I decided for her to be the daughter of Mortimer and Bella Goth. And I moved them closer. When I designed the I chose Newcrest because it was mostly blank, and I tried to create key spots, and I think in reality they're more neighborhoods rather than like I don't know, they're too I don't know, to me they're too small to be like a city or a town, but they're too big to be like a neighborhood. But I think they're officially closer to neighborhoods. But originally, because like I said in the last video, I'm have this is kind of like the first time that I've it's taken me it's taken me a long time to get what I'm saying out. But basically I'm new to Sims 4. Oh, and Buffy has Buffy likes to tell people vampire secrets, even to vampires, which I think Angel kind of needs, to be honest, because I think it does help him. And in a further episode, I'm gonna probably, or in further gameplay, I should say, I'm going to focus more on getting his vampire skills up, getting the master a little bit more mastery. I think technically Darla is a higher level of vampire than the master is because, and now they're both embarrassed because I tried to have them flirt. But I don't know, life's not. They both want to go to a mirror. They desperately need a mirror. But yeah, Darla. I had to build Darla up in order to sire Angel, and so this is taking place on the next day, and basically, this isn't a location even within Newcrest. I think this is in in oh my gosh, I'm I'm having a blank. The basically full staff stout town. I'll put it right there to show that I'm an idiot. But basically, this was like the next day, and because after that part, everyone just kind of left. And so I wanted to get one of, because I had her in the bodybuilder aspiration to make her physically fit. And here she is calling people stinky again. That's not very nice. But basically, I wanted to have her build some of her relationships and also get that aspiration checked off. Um, and it's kind of funny to see, like, Willow and Cordelia working out, and Angel's not really all that interested. Which is kind of in contrast to how it is in the show. Angel has just become a completely different person. But I was hoping things would get, and it does make her happy to be working out and stuff, so that's a plus. And some interesting things are gonna happen pretty soon. I don't know if I should turn something off. I'll get to that part when we get to it. But something's interesting is about to. This is foreshadowing. But basically, I wanted to kind of. So during this part, I was trying really hard for her and Angel to like each other. I was trying really, really hard. And so far, it's not working out so great. Some more foreshadowing. um, what else was I going to talk about? But basically, they're just here to talk, and it seems like I get to a certain part where they start to like each other, and might even like each other. And then something happens, and one of them gets embarrassed, and then like the pink meter goes completely down on them, and that is kind of weird to me. Like how are you supposed to? I'm thinking I probably need to get the charisma traits on both of them a little bit higher, maybe? I don't know. But see, she's feeling flirty now. She must like him a little bit. And if you look in the corner there, you could kind of see what I was talking about. Uh, I think that werewolves are more of a problem in my playthrough than vampires are. They just appear randomly, fully wolfed out, and oh, and see, she went from flirty to just happy that quickly. Let's see. I think that this guy is probably in the realms of magic, and that, so kind of to keep you guys maybe interested a little bit more. um, I'm going to send a whole bunch of them to the realm of magic to learn how to be spellcasters, and I'm going to even add a few spellcasters to the show. Some other spellcasters. um, but that's gonna happen. So the next episode is going to be more dedicated to getting Joyce her business up. And I'm actually really excited to show you off the... It's a littler space than what I initially imagined, like infinitely littler. But I think it's kind of cute, so I'm excited for you guys to see that. But yeah, there's just a werewolf here. And it's weird because sometimes they're chill, and I think it's because they're not fully raged out. And maybe if you're a werewolf, you shouldn't go to the gym if you're super angry, I guess. Oh, and see, Angel's not having it. He's not having it with Buffy. See? Now they're scared of him. Like, I don't necessarily get it. That is something I need to work towards, because I need them to be able to be at least around the werewolves, because it's kind of a nuisance. But here, I just was trying to get them away from the werewolf, which kind of defeats the purpose of them being at the gym. And I don't know how long they actually... And see, she's becoming more friends with this random girl. Maybe in truth, they were showcasing unrealistic relationships in Buffy, even friendships. So this is another instance, but this one is... So I think they kind of met each other in the last episode. I can't remember. But I wanted Xander to start being more involved. So I decided to play as him and had him talk with Buffy. And things just kind of go a little bit differently. I think they probably do have the best relationship out of her and her friends, I would say. Maybe. No, I think eventually I get pretty high in... But I don't think it's still... I don't think officially she's become friends with any of them. Maybe I'm just really bad at this game. And I think it's... This is something I'm frustrated on too. It's like, if you ever place a sim anywhere and you go to a different family, their automatic response is just to leave. Like, she said, okay, I'll hang out with you for a little bit, and then she's just gone. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, you think if you're at a place, you would spend a little time there, and then you would come back. So I decided to have him call Buffy or to invite Buffy here because he actually knew her at this point. And I don't know if I know I talked a little bit about this, but um, since I wasn't having Xander's parents, um, I decided to move him in with Johnny Zest, and I need to probably play more with him too because it seems like there's like trauma. I remember seeing like in defense of Johnny Zest on my YouTube recommendations. So there's something juicy going on with Johnny. This is kind of random, but like until recently I didn't know that there was actual like lore for The Sims. Like I just thought you kind of made it up yourself, but like the game has like in my last video I say that I went from like the last Sims game I played religiously was Sims 1, and that was when I was like in junior high. And so I didn't know that there was like all this stuff with like Bella being abducted by aliens and like there officially being a Sims timeline and everything. I just thought you kind of just made it up yourself. And I guess you can, but still play it that way. But it's kind of interesting. Maybe we could play off of that a little bit. Cause like I think the guy with the tattoos is Don Lothario. And if you're a Sims fan, please don't smack me. And I know he's supposed to be like this big player. I did watch. There's a couple of Sims YouTubers that I've started watching regularly because it is kind of interesting. I just didn't know it was there. But I know that Don Lothario is supposed to be like this big player. And the funny thing is like I think when I was so I haven't shown you Darla yet, but to get her level up, I had to, I've had to have played with her, and she likes Dawn's blood, but there's an age discrepancy there. Maybe that's who Darla's really meant to be with, was Dawn Lothario. Maybe that'll be the next step, the next chapter that deviates from Buffy lore. But so things just started to go kind of more positively for these two, and I decided to play it up a little bit. And I don't know. I don't know if I just built Buffy weirdly, but I feel like playing as Xander, it's a lot easier to do the right things to get them to like each other. Maybe that's what I just need to do. I need to start playing as the other players to kind of help Buffy easierly make friends. But like in the show, Xander would flirt with her at the beginning, not towards the end, but at the beginning, yes. And so I decided to play it off that way, and it 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 went in a direction. So I don't know if maybe that's where it's going to if that's the direction I'm going to have instead of her with Angel. I don't know. But that kind of is maybe deviating too much. I know in the comics, like, Buffy kind of had, like, the same kind of moment, which is really weird, because, so, I only read the comics for the first season of, like, they had season 8, of in comic book form, and that was the only season I read the entire thing through. But I know that in later comics, like they kind of have like Buffy decides that she wants to try something with Xander, like a relationship with Xander, but then it ends up being that him and Dawn get together, and I don't know how I feel about that. I think it's kind of weird. But maybe maybe people like it. I'm One thing I didn't like about the comics is I felt like when you transition from like a TV show where you have restrictions to a comic book where you don't have restrictions, like I think that kind of takes away from the like like the feeling of the show. Like I know that there was parts where they and see it's ruined already. I know there's parts like where like I think at the end of season 8 like Spike flies around in a UFO or something, and like obviously they couldn't do that in the TV show because they didn't have the budget for that. At least at the time, they wouldn't be able to have done that. And so it just feels too different, I guess. And like the tone of the comic books is, to me, it's too different than like that of the show. And I've read some of the Boom comics, which isn't like directly supervised by like Joss Whedon, and it's probably for the best that way. But but anyways, my long rant is I feel like the ones I've read, they kind of like things are gritty in that comic book, and I kind of wish they had kept it that way in the season, like what is supposed to be the official canon. It just feels too different to me. The official like canon, which might seem weird, but it just feels like it went into a complete different course in like feel than the show was. Where at least what I've read of the Boom comics, it was a little bit closer. Like I think they still had problems, like because the ones I read, it was more like a retelling with a modern twist, and like Drusilla is the, I think they still call her the master, or they call her the mistress, or something like that. But she doesn't like it's cool, but she doesn't necessarily feel like Drusilla, and I could kind of see the pros and cons about that. And they are trying to make it their own thing, but at the same time, some of the characters don't necessarily feel like themselves. But I like the tone of what I've read from the Boom comics. I need to read more of it because they've done some cool stuff. Like I think they have Buffy, Kendra, and Faith all active at the same time, which is kind of interesting because I think you could play with like Kendra hardly had any time in the series to actually like grow, or like you only got like snapshots of her, I guess, which is it's kind of sad because like both Kendra and Faith were like foils of each other, or of Buffy, just in different ways, I guess. Well, Faith was a little bit more of a foil because they were a little more similar, but I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I do need to read it because I don't know how they characterize Kendra at all, but but I thought it was, I like it when they do, and I think Jenny Calendar's still alive in that one too. Like she hasn't, they haven't killed her off in that. Um, and as you can see, she's very tense right now. But things... So, the reason she's tense is her and Dawn... I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but her and Dawn do not have a good relationship. But something happened at school that made her feel flirty. And, like, on this part, the funny thing is they actually, like, I need to work on her academics too, because, like, they said, oh, she's not doing very well. Do you want to invite Xander over? And I'm like, okay. But it changed course drastically, though. It's not something to do with studying. And I think that's, like, I think the idea is that you would do homework together, but, like, whenever I do that, they're just kind of doing the homework, and it's not, like, I noticed more of a, like, a relationship boost when Joyce helps her with homework, and I thought maybe because Willow was smarter, but maybe, well, I don't know if she's smarter, she just has different aspirations for, like, more intelligent stuff, I guess. Maybe I need to play with her more, but I thought that she could kind of tutor her too, kind of like how Joyce was doing for Buffy, but... So I thought that was the whole idea. And the whole... So Angel did not accept the rose, but Xander is accepting the rose. If this was the Bachelorette, then I guess that's what the rose thing's about. But see, it's going in a very different way than in the show. So I don't know, it could be something fun to do something a little bit different. As a side note, this is parts of the next episode are going to kind of be intermingled, and one of the things that I did get, Joyce's level is high on painting. I decided to just have her paint and to simulate it being her it would be more of an art, like, it's her own art for the art gallery. Oh, this is the juicy part. They have had their first kiss ever. And it's something very... And they go in for seconds, I guess. Some of the expressions on The Sims are fun, like the very flirty one down there is fun for Buffy. But something really weird that I don't like is when you're in Create a Sim, like, and it's only with the female characters, they'll, like, look to this off to the side and smile, and it kind of gives me the creeps. I don't know if it's an uncanny valley or if they're just making her, like, the character smile too big, because I don't see it when I'm designing the male characters. But it's like you change anything and they go off to the side and smile kind of creepily. But yeah, that's what's happening with Buffy and Xander, is they're kind of getting more to know each other. And that he's out. I do think so. I think in the future I am going to, like, temporarily move characters into families, just if I'm working on a relationships with certain characters, because I think it's easier when you can kind of control both sides, I think. So I think I am going to aim for that in the future. But anyways, I hope you liked it. I hope that you liked the drama of Buffy and Xander having their first kiss. And please, if you please, subscribe to my channel and like the video, it would help me tremendously. And please make sure I So here's a blathery part right in the middle of the intro. But I've decided, because the last episode was really long, so I'm going to try and do shorter videos more often. So that would be a plus. So if you are interested in what you see, please subscribe. Alright, thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.